Farthest Frontier 1.0, it's finally here, the full release. Well, we'll talk about that in just a moment. Hello again there, friends and fans. Raptor here, and this game has been truly one of my favorite games to play on the channel for the last couple of years, as it first dropped, I think, in 2022 in the summer, and has had many update now leading up to this, the 1.0 preview version of the game. That's right, it's basically right around the corner that it's going to drop, and considering all the time that it's passed since its original conception and early access period, it's really not that far away, all that time considered. So anyway, welcome aboard. Good to see you all here. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, turn on that notification bell, hit that like button too if you'd like to see more wonderful city builders like this one. Not quite medieval, not quite caveman, not quite what you'd expect. It's really its own thing, and there's a lot of great things in Farthest Frontier which I want to see in Manor Lords and many other games too. And so today I wanted to talk a little bit about the 1.0 version, which is a preview version that's almost done. Like, this is pretty much as close as it's going to be before launch sometime later this year, which I assume will be September or October. I can't quite recall, but it is a little bit away, but plenty of time to be able to pick up the game and play it between now and then. I kind of wish it'll be a long time, but I think it's right around the corner because I want to experiment with all these things here. I'll be making more videos on the channel too, by the way, on how to play Farthest Frontier. So if you're wondering how you do this and that, how to acquire cows or sheep or, well, goats, or build walls or assemble a military, or hell, even build a beautiful blueberry vineyard, then I'm going to show you how to do that eventually. Anyway, we're going to jump into a settlement that I've been working on, and I'm going to share some of my thoughts about the previous video, which kind of talked about, hey, where is this game? What's happening? And then boom, suddenly 1.0 happened, and that was pretty amazing, the timing on that. So anyway, let's jump in. Welcome back to the amazing 1.0 city of Fort Raptoria. It's gorgeous, it's beautiful, and it's nowhere near complete, but it's a great start, and is one of the maps that we actually played on when we took a look at the game previously, just like about a month ago. I was like, oh, I'm going to make a map, and, you know, remember this game? It was cool. It'll never come out, though. One time we'll have a 1.0 video, but that'll be a long way away. Well, now here it is. It wasn't that long after all. Gorgeous lakes and rivers in this game. I want to talk to you then very shortly about all the things that makes 1.0 different, but I did want to show off just the natural beauty of this game. Like, it really is one that, you know, if you don't love, or if you really do love grid-based city builders, it doesn't really matter. There's an incredible amount of detail here, from the people who are doing all the farming to the buildings themselves with different materials for different tiers. You know, when a building's upgraded, it operates slightly differently than the building before, yet it still stays in the same footprint, and it's pretty incredible. There's a lot of great things about this game that I love about its appearance and about how things can really look and function and feel. And it very, very much feels like Austria when you're getting started with the survival in that against nature and trying to feed everybody. But of course, this game also has the possibility of raids, and so there's been raiders coming down these roads, and I built some fortresses and some barracks to try to train archers and foot soldiers and whatnot to stop them from attacking. And of course, we have wild animals that can kill our people too: bears, boars, and wolves, and of course the invading armies and raiders and other things like that. So anyway, one thing that I've noticed, and I might not have everything accurate here. Oh boy, we got a wolf over there. Someone will get him. Don't worry about it. Anyway, one thing I wanted to talk about is, one, it's been a while since I played. So some of the things that I may be mentioning here today may have come in previous versions since our last video long ago. So if I get something a little amiss there with when it came in, just keep in mind all these things I'm about to mention are new to me, and I'm very delighted to see for 1.0. To be expanded upon and perfected before its release. We have ourselves a little academy here, and the academy is amazing because we can take paper then and start to develop research points. And right now here in the upper left corner, you can see we've got no knowledge, but every 15 months we're generating knowledge that can be spent down here on the new technology tree, and this is beefy. And this is exactly what Manor Lords needs. Look at all this stuff. We got everything from commerce to farming to military, and also mining and metallurgy. There's a lot of great stuff here. There's ways to get more technology by developing more of our schools and things. Like the first one I would recommend if you're going to play is natural philosophy. Like immediately getting 20% more base knowledge from day one is a great idea the moment you can get it. But there's a lot of other things here to then make every playthrough a little different, you know, like focusing on midwives to increase the birth rate, nursing. There's different ways to get different materials and more frequently get those materials, like working on barrel making, which of course then can go into your root cellars. And also I think it might have something to do with making or exporting beer. No, I think beer could be exported without that. But anyway, There's a lot of great ways to preserve food in this game, and there's even ways to take like the apiaries and have them, there's a button around here somewhere, double-walled hives, which allows for more production of honey, which is great for mead, but even more than that is to take wax and then turn it into a sealant for barrels. I'm trying to find out exactly where it is. There's bookbinding here, paper pressing, but there is definitely a tier here somewhere to be able to take the, oh, maybe they moved some things around here. Actually, I remember sheep composting being at the bottom. They're honestly constantly changing around where the things are on this game. In this game, too, they changed around how some of the knowledge points worked from day one of the 1.0. So some of these things may have scooted around or are different costs, even in the future. If you're watching this video on release day or something, you're like, oh, is this the 1.0? Yeah, I'm going to make some more recent videos closer to that launch. So definitely check that out, too, because this is kind of just comparing the game from long ago to this preview version, and then we'll do a 1.0 launch version where things can change even further. And I believe they're getting feedback on these types of things. Like, I don't remember this. Glass recycling, is this new? Now I don't even know. I tried to take as many looks at these as I could. Wait a minute. Wax sealed barrels is all the way up here. I thought this used to be down. Okay, some things may have changed since the last time I played about a week ago. But again, an ever-changing, ever-being rebalanced tech tree, because I think that's why they've released this so early before their 1.0, is that they wanted a lot of feedback, and this game does take some time to play. So when it comes to like wax sealed barrels here, maybe they want it to cost $1 or $2 knowledge points, depending on having a multitude of different tiers, maybe starting at 10%, then 20. Here it's a 25% reduction of spoilage there, but there's a incredible amount of stuff to look at. I mean, there's just a plethora of choices and different branches on where they go. And I'm sure there'll be more added around 1.0, and some of these will be refined, maybe they'll be removed or even combined, but it's really cool. And yeah, this sets a really big precedent for me for things like Manor Lords and other games to just have a beautiful background. And this even unlocks monuments for you too. There's kind of different ways to quote unquote win. And I'd imagine if you build a massive city, fill up the map, and build all the monuments, you're going to want to start over and play again. Yeah, there's different beacons of culture and gates of valor that you can build. So it's kind of a victory condition for yourself if you want to set it that way. So there you go. All right, I've slowed things down to about half speed here, and I just wanted to show off some of the ideas that I had in building my city. Oh, there it was, the predator over there. Remember how I told you not to worry? Don't worry. I'm not going to save this save. I'm just showing things off. We're just doing a little tour. So anyway, as I was mentioning, yeah, I was trying to build a beautiful city here. Beautification, more important than ever and easier to do than ever, too. There's tech tree things that allow you to have more range for some of that beauty, or to have it more effective for things like pubs, which certainly affect people's moods. Here we have a little maypole, and that affects people's moods and desirability, as well as this statue. Our theater there as well, where people can come for entertainment. And that all has a range of effect on the city, including our little shrine over here. And another thing, that this is older here, but the shrine is a building that came in a while ago and really changes the game. And that kind of was the first start of a tech tree. In addition to all the tech that you saw, these two things here, one of them in which adds 25% more health to our people, so everybody is more resilient against animals, bear attacks or whatever, or even enemy soldiers, and that includes our own army. So our troops also have 25% more health, which makes them incredibly powerful against the enemy, and we stand a much better chance, especially when we're outnumbered greatly in our military. And then the other thing here is, and these are nothing new, but these are really important, that this one here like chills the food a lot longer, so spoilage is less of an issue. And right here, we're like right in the middle of spring here. If I click up there, it'll lock that for us. It's late spring, year 34. So yeah, we obviously don't have a lot of food because it's just beginning for the year. There it is, just 1 month worth of food, but there's still a lot of food, right? Like if you look at all those numbers, there's quite a bit of food for about 300 people, 500 people, and we're gonna only get more because now spring has sprung and the foragers are going to be able to get more food easily, and maybe the deer more active and things like that. So more things will come in more quickly, and then of course with this we'll be able to prevent spoilage, and including if we get barrels, then that'll help to increase it even more. We got some traders in here. Oh, and we got a building on fire. See that lightning just hit that building there? Let's see how the fire brigades do before we go check on the traders. Again, I've got to say, these buildings here, I want all of these like 3D printed. There's like wonderful models here. And even with the bear attacks, I think the devs watch me and a lot of other people play this game and listen to our feedback and our videos and some of your comments. But more importantly, I think people were very active in their discords. And one of the things that they added a while ago was a mode called Farthest Front Bear. And I think it was like April Fool's back in like 2024. I'm pretty sure it was bear mode just added for me. I mean, you know my history with bears in games. They always love to kill me. But I thought it was a special touch, and I'd love to see more playful and hilarious game modes in this game. As, yeah, Grim Dawn is the previous game these devs worked on, and apparently will be working on more. I think while they're about to release this one right around the corner, they're already working on yet another title. So we'll see what happens there. So these are tier 3 homes. You'll see people coming over and starting to, okay, that lady's passed out there for no reason. What the hell happened? Okay. Is she dead? What happened? Lady, what happened? Anyway, we got somebody here who's got typhoid. That's great. They're going to have to go to a healer. I have no idea who that is. Oh, great. Oh, it couldn't be worse. This is the worst. This is the worst. Villagers have started or finished excavating an ancient ruin. Oh, just in time. A new wild relic has been acquired. This is Eye of the Hunter. So 15% more damage for bows, crossbows, and towers. That's going to be really important for our defense that we're about to have. So you guys are about to see a raid. It's going to get real exciting here today. If we survive, I don't know. I'm just here for the tour. We'll find out what happened to that lady in just a moment. All right, raiders are on the way. They've entered the map here in the lower right corner, so they'll be upon us shortly. We'll have to get the military then set up to encounter them. We'll have to keep an eye on them and see where they try to attack. Really briefly, just to cover our defenses, this is why I built here. These rivers, or rather lakes, are massive and they're gorgeous, and they really provide a lot of great choke areas to stop the enemy. In fact, this is, I think, the biggest area where they can attack. There's a kind of a large area there, but not too crazy to defend with a wall. But you can see some of these very narrow areas fitting within the screen where we could put maybe like a barracks and then a couple of towers to watch the flanks. Same up here where we've got like a clay brick factory going, and also I think we're mining coal, and so we could defend that there. And there's these really interesting, just beautiful land bridges, which, by the way, the 1.0 version now has bridges as well. Yeah, let's go ahead and take a little brief look at that. I was planning on building a little bridge over here, and we could build a bridge now out of stone, and hopefully we could build some out of wood in the future, but I was thinking about somehow building over here, and as you can see, yeah, you can build bridges of pretty much any size, and these are available from the very beginning of the game. Did they add gold to that? I think it used to just cost stone, and now they've added gold for that, maybe. I can't recall. I haven't built one yet, but I've thought about planning them out a little bit, and yeah, I'd love to build like a bridge here, and then to that other side that I pointed out there. It'd be kind of cool. It would look really, really beautiful. But anyway, our defensive positions are pretty good. We got 2 barracks here and a tower in between, and we got more troops on the way, more troops training. We just got to get more money. You know, we're earning plus 139. Finances are pretty good, and I just wanted to briefly touch on trading, which is more than likely, or more or less, really working kind of the same as it always did. In order to buy animals in this game, or to have them, we have to buy them. But first, we have to have somewhere to house them, so you have to build a goat barn, or unlock a goat barn first, then build it, then trade for those goats. And then, of course, they'll, you know, have offspring, and you can have as many goat sheds, or whatever you want to call them, as you'd like. So the more goats that you have, if you hit a maximum number, you can cull the herd, and you know, if you have 20 of them, you can cut it down to like 15, and they'll slaughter 5 for the meat, and then kind of keep those numbers around 15, leaving a little bit of room for them to have offspring. But you can always build more and more, and that's the same for chickens, cows, and goats. A lot of materials that are being traded here. We got crossbows available too, some clothing, and 4 people working here. Got $2,600 inside of the actual trading post itself, but we've got this amount of money up here to kind of go back and forth to trade if we want to. So we can take money from the town, put it in the trade post, and then use that as trading power. And kind of the same story here too. This lady here is a little bit more about trading like fish and iron, basic raw resources, some weapons too. And this guy, as you'd imagine with the name Plains Rider, is all about anything to do with the plains. So we'll see a lot of cattle, a lot of goats, tallow, maybe some meat, some things like that. Oh, it looks like he's got a real good price on that. So with the food being a little low, we could buy that up if we wanted to, but we're going to go ahead and skip on that for now, and that'll be fine. Let's deal with this impending invasion. Now, I've noticed that invasions have gotten a little more intelligent, a little smarter over time, but one thing I want to see more and more in this game is the raiders having some sort of a formation. They kind of still seem to come in randomly, and it feels a little bit like Stronghold, where sometimes a troop attacks would begin in Stronghold, and they would tell you, hey, the enemy's attacking, and sometimes they would show up in a really good formation and be planned out, but a lot of the times it just seemed like they would all just start running towards the castle. Archers would show up first or something, you'd shoot them, then the pikemen, then you'd shoot them, and then very slowly the knights. rather than any sort of real tactic to it. Quick autosave there. We're going to go ahead and speed things up past half speed and see if we can defend against this raid. So they should be coming in around here. So we've got the Northern Division here. This is what I'm calling North, by the way, just because this is where our town hall is. It's reversed on the mini-map, but, you know, it's my map. I get to do what I want. So we have a force here that is right at this outpost, and we're going to have another group here that we're going to train up. So let's go ahead and get a couple of recruits. We're going to go ahead and go all in with maybe 10 of them, 12? Yeah, we can have 12 in there. I'm going to recruit them for big money. Oh, look at that. Garrison, recruit 50 military units. We got an achievement for that. So there's 50 units in total. This unit in the south, I'm going to also have them come up here too. And we don't want them breaking through. Could be a large force, so we'll see. So these forces now, and this is very good. Since the last time I played, I'm not sure if these are new, but they're new to me. These little banners down here that kind of show you where the troops could possibly be. So this group here, I think, was away doing something with, like, they were, I think, trying to kill a, oh, look at that, a salvage site. This is relatively new too. Being able to send people out to excavate that and investigate what's there. We could find shrine trinkets, or that might have gold or meat or something on it like that. So anyway, these guys are away doing work trying to kill boars and wolves and bear, and a couple of them now have crossbows. I've been trying to upgrade our military now to all crossbows and trying to keep our hunters to just bows. They can more than likely kill anything with one shot anyway, unless it's a big old bear. So it's kind of a security thing. So we got these troops trying to meet up, and we'll have these two armies kind of defend as well, and we'll see what we can do and hold the enemy back. So they really like to attack up here and go for our market. The AI is relatively smart in what they attack. They will try to go for destruction, so they'll try to burn down some homes, and they'll try to mess up our statues. And if we can find one somewhere, I'll show you exactly. Yeah, they might destroy this, for example, a shrine, and they may even try to destroy our marketplaces here, which we don't want them to do because those are very expensive to rebuild and could take away a lot of desirability from the town. They may also try to destroy the town center and steal our gold, but luckily we got a big old vault there, which has got room for 25,000 gold, so they'll be transferring some of that gold in there over time. Looks like we need a worker there. Okay. All right, so let's go ahead and see where the friendly forces are at. Oh, good. They're arriving very shortly. They should be right around here. So we got some options for the military, which is new to me. We got offensive stance, we've got defensive stance, we got the ability to hold position, retreat to their own garrison, and then we can select different military units that we have. So like cavalry only, infantry or archers, and then we can also tell them to, all of them to do whatever with the push of a button. So pretty cool. We've been really doing well against the raiders that have been coming through. Also, we're playing on Vanquisher, the hardest difficulty in the game, right up there. You can see it there, map size large. I thought the map that we played on was the Alpine Heights or something, but I think this is Idyllic Valley. And yeah, with these new bridges, I guess it's the best map to play on, because when I'm going to want to build a bridge, it's going to have to be across a big old lake and not necessarily a small little pond. And I'm a little bummed, honestly. I, at this point, thought we would see coastal maps, and I thought we would see like river trading or river traffic or coastal this and that, where we were trading with other nations via ship on the shore. But unfortunately, it doesn't seem to be a thing just yet in this game. And they may add that after 1.0. 1.0 might just be a huge jump forward in trying to say, hey, we've got all these ways to play now. Here's a big old tech tree, and let us know what you want to see added next. And very soon they could add something like coastal I don't know, invasions or defenses against Vikings. That'd be very cool. I highly doubt it, but I hope I'm wrong. Like, I hope something big comes around that blows our mind, because it took us this long to get bridges. We thought back in like 2022, 2023, be like, oh, bridges are coming any day, man. They're gonna pop them in. We'll be able to build bridges like that. But no, not until just now. And that's the thing for Manor Lords too. It was like, oh man, are we ever gonna get like an actual decent river in Manor Lords? And luckily, Greg listened with all that you know, feedback from everybody wanting to see that. Oh, what happened here? Old age? Oh, old age. Okay. Henia. Dying at 76. F down below in the comment section if you've watched this far. And if you just skipped to this part of the video, you go right back to the beginning, mister. Skipping around a Farthest Frontier video. You know we play this at the slowest speed ever. Oh, look at all the kids growing up. Excellent. Look at the population here. You can see the breakdown. I believe elderly folks don't work anymore. They've retired, and rightfully so. We've got seniors at 49, adults at 176, adolescents 136. 143 children who, yeah, when they graduate, I think they become adults when it says that they've grown up. It does say that children have grown up, but that means that they're going from adolescent to adult, I believe. And then infant, 17. people can move into our town, and they're more likely to move in larger numbers if we have a ton of food stacked up. That's basically your advertisement property, or your options there. And there is something like that too in the tech tree. But the more food and the more homes, the more likely people are to hear about it via word of mouth and move into your town. But of course, folks, look at that! Wow, couldn't have been more right. Usually we see somewhere around 10 or 12 folks moving in, but yeah, we're a little lighter on the food this year because I was moving around some of our farms and working on crop rotation. So the farms were kind of down for a couple of years to exponentially increase the amount of food we're about to have. I think that plan will be bearing fruit very soon in like 2 or 3 years. And then also we're going to upgrade root cellars and those root cellars will then preserve the food better. And then of course the barrels, plus also that 25% bonus I showed you earlier in the shrine. So yeah, that's pretty cool. At the temple. So 7 people move in. Damn, it's like the game is listening. It's like I'm the farthest frontier whisperer. I put 1,000,000 hours in this game. It's cool to know what I'm talking about, I guess, for once. Okay, anyway, military mode. We've got attackers moving in. They're right around here somewhere. Apparently it's only 16, which is like, really? Okay, I would like to see a much larger force, but yeah. I am seeing a few new... oh, wait a minute, hold on. Oh, hold on. Okay, let's get the military over here, the other guys.
It will be done. Right
now,
away.
I've also built this barracks kind of up on a hill. You can see it's a little slightly elevated, and that does provide a difference. The towers and your barracks, and I think any structure will provide more damage to the enemy whenever you build it, and that's really cool. Although I don't know if we put our archers at the high ground, if that provides them any sort of bonus. I would like to see that be confirmed from the developers in saying that, yeah, if you put troops up on an elevated position, they do more damage. I'm not sure if that's the case, but it absolutely is the case with towers and also other defenses. So here you can see all these numbers are like 5 and 6 further away from the tower because it's higher up. But if we put it down to the ground, then you can see it's about a 2. So if you can, always build on the heights. And I kind of did there and there, and that tower there in the middle is to kind of cut them up. All right, I think we completely wiped out that raid. That was pathetic. I was expecting way more. But going back to what I mentioned about the AI, they do seem to be a little bit smarter in their flanking. But what's misleading, though, is you'll see a banner on the map, as you've seen before in like They Are Billions or Age of Darkness Final Stand, and you'll see, you know, an army approaching in the fog of war, and you'll see like a symbol moving, so you assume all those troops are going to stick together, but sometimes they'll go, you know, maybe a group will attack here in the north of this lake, and then somehow a group will come down here and attack in the south. It's kind of confusing. Like, they absolutely are flanking you, but I wouldn't expect bandits to do that. I'd expect them kind of all to just stay together, kind of brute force their way in, take whatever they can and get the hell out. But oftentimes these raiders are just losing 90 to 100% of their men, and they're paying with their lives for literally nothing. Like, they're literally escaping with nothing. They got nothing. So pretty impressive to be able to wipe them all out. But bigger armies will come. They will bring battering rams, catapults, I think maybe even trebuchets. Don't quote me on that one. That may not be a thing, but I know I've seen catapults before. And there also is cavalry in the game, too, so we can buy that from some of the traders coming in. Oh, I built a chicken coop over here, too. Another great thing, and I cannot stop praising this game enough for this, is you see the grazing areas, these little squares here for the chickens? They'll do what they do best, right? They'll eat all these food, and then they'll, you know, they'll take a crap, and then, of course, that becomes fertile ground. And what we could do after a number of years is move these chicken coops somewhere else and then build a field here where it'll be nice and fertilized. But speaking of fertilizer, check out what we have to do for all of these fields. You can kind of see how dark these fields are. The darker kind of green color like that means that it's crazily fertilized. So look at how well this field looks. This is something that set Farthest Frontier apart, and this is nowhere near new, but this is still new in terms of, like, I want to see this in every single game where there's this level of, like, farming management. The number one thing that I love here is the soil mixture. And you can try to pick things like cabbage, which will require a little bit more clay-like soil, and then carrots, which requires a little bit more sandy soil. You can try to go for the middle. But what the game allows you to do is you can, of course, mine clay, you can buy clay, and the same with sand, and you can import it into these little fields. So you can tell the workers, hey, let's mix a bunch of sand in because we're going to start having more carrots, and, you know, this soil's a little sandy. Clay-wise, I mean, let's make it more sandy, and that way we'll get a higher yield. And that's amazing that you could do that. So you can see the fertility of the field. You can see the weed level, which is why every once in a while we have people coming into the field to work it, to remove rocks and to remove weeds. And then we also have clover, which is a good cover crop to then bring back fertility. And there might even be an option. I know this is Austrive, but I want to see it here too, would be the ability to have cows graze on these fields. You can kind of do it if you want to, like you could delete the field, have the cows graze there, then rebuild the field, but I think then it regains its rockiness because they had to like retill the land or something, and I don't know. But anyway, I think it should be more flowing that way, you know. So very cool though that it's actually in the game. And there's night soil people. These are folks, look, we don't have plumbing in our town, right? So people are crapping in buckets and barrels and whatever, and we have a night soil collector coming over and grabbing all that, maybe some rotten vegetables and other things that go bad, and they put it in here, turn it into compost, and then they start fertilizing the fields, and that keeps everything nice and green. Now, it used to be in this game where you had to do all this manually, so you had to select a field each year, but you can set it so each composter is going to pick the least fertile field and then start dumping compost onto it, making it more fertile. Here you can see a couple of different fields with different colors too. This one on the left, I expanded this field. There's an option to actually do that where you can make a field kind of an L shape if you'd like to too. We could, connect these two fields here into one large field. And it's kind of neat, nice that you can make something other than a square or a rectangle. That's what I've been building so far, but I know I could do more. Hey, look at that, salvage goods. Remember that little treasure chest earlier? That's what those folks were digging up. So we got actual gold, 149, not bad. Some stone, some arrows, some shoes, tools, some baskets. Baskets are interesting in this game. It's very important. If you build those, they're like backpacks for your people. They can go out and carry more and do more work that way. So you always want to have willow being harvested and then, of course, turned into baskets or sold because those baskets are really important as well. Got some firewood, some clothing, and some bows. We got a nudist colony here. I have not been producing clothes for a very long number of years, but somehow we still have people clothed. I buy linen clothes whenever I can. It doesn't seem to be a big need right now, but it will make us some extra money. It's kind of like in Anno, when you, in Anno 1800, you're trying to make more money in that game, so you provide them with more goods. So if you provide them with soap and schnapps and like the sausages and bread and build a church nearby, they'll be happier, so they'll stay longer. And then, of course, you'll make more money that way, too. Another person killed by predators. Look at that. This is why I always play this game on slow, too, because in the time that I've been, kind of presenting this, there's been a number of deaths. I'm not going to do anything about it now. It's just going to naturally play out. But if we were playing the game and I was trying to really make a successful city and not just take a tour, we'd be doing this step by step and really be more picky about what we're doing. So we're just going to let, nature take its course and see how it goes. Love this road here. Even though it is a grid-based city builder, you can, of course, make curved roads, and it looks rather nice. You can build then public squares off those roads, plant different types of flowers and bushes and trees, and put down benches, and it's a lovely little place for people to hang out. And does provide a little bit of a desirability bonus, which we can see right here. Yeah, look at that. Pretty desirable. You want it to be real purple. That's how you know it's the best. So this area over here is very desirable. A lot of people want to live around here, and so some of the best homes are being built right nearby. Now, when these houses get up to tier 4, they'll change their appearance again. This town hall, I think, is on tier 4. Tier 3. So we're going towards tier 4, and there are some of the prerequisites that are needed for that there, the cost of that. But, yeah. Overall, I gotta say, this game is just, for it to be able to drag me back in is great. And I think I was playing this maybe 5 hours a day, 2 times a day, for an entire month when it first dropped. And that was before all these changes. The frame rate was atrocious. They've optimized the hell out of it since then, and it's really good. There's an unlimited population in this game, too. If you hit escape, and if you go towards settings, and if you go to, I believe it's general, they basically give you a warning saying, hey, man, look, we want you to do whatever you want, but just keep in mind this could tank your performance or whatever if you got a crappy PC. So you could change how often the game auto-saves, and then also you can change the number of villagers. So I think the default is 500, but you can change that essentially to unlimited, and you can also enable now 5 times game speed. So if 3 is not fast enough for you, you can turn it up to 5 and really fly through those years. I wouldn't recommend that if you're playing on Vanquisher or any sort of high difficulty, but that is an option to you. And this is new too, all of these achievements. This is great. So this is kind of going to what I was saying about your own victory conditions earlier. This is a great game for Steam achievement hunters. There's a ton of them for civic, survival, production, and military. And these are a lot of basic things like just reach a certain number of population, or survive the first winter, or kill an animal or whatever. But then some of them are big goals that are going to take a long time. Like, for example, accumulate 100,000 gold, Or with the military one, I think kill like 1,000 raiders, 2,000, 10,000. That's crazy. And to do it on a high level of difficulty. So it'll be a real fun game to be able to get through. And like we literally just unlocked one. I hired a military, long enough to be able to get 50 troops, and that was an achievement. Oh no, a villager has been struck with a bee sting. This game has all sorts of different, really brutal diseases. We got typhoid, we got smallpox, we've got rabies, and then of course we got the occasional broken bone and broken femur. They can have a little broken bone like a toe or a finger, but they can also have like a fractured leg. But then every once in a while we get a bee sting, or even worms. You can get worms in your feet if people don't have shoes, and kids happen to have that happen sometimes. Luckily we got a little bit of a hospital ready to go for them. So of our medical issues, we got one person in the hospital. That's it. Out of 500 people, there's one guy with a bee sting who is having a little allergic reaction. So luckily, the medical staff is helping them out. And the medical building, which I think is right over here somewhere. Oh, look at this. The bakery. Look at that. People coming in and getting fresh bread. Real quick, I just wanted to mention that some of these buildings, like the bakery, do provide a desirability bonus. Because, man, imagine living down the street from fresh bread, and also, you just have to walk to get it. Like, it's very convenient. You're getting fresh food and it's bread, so that must smell really amazing to have that in your hands and just be like, oh god, it smells so good. So anyway, going back to what I mentioned about the healer, there's the healer's house here. This little tiny building for 25 gold can heal all these people. What is that, 10 people could be healed, and we can have a secondary doctor in there too, which just requires basic education. Now, recently I've been playing a game called End Zone 2, and End Zone 2 has a system in it that I thought would come to Manderlords a long time ago too. A missed opportunity so far with this school is being able to train our people into different things. Now, we do have essentially like a university. The academy over here very much to me feels like a university where we then work on these things in the tech tree. But one thing I really want to have happen in this game is at the school, I want to be able to have our people lean towards certain types of studies. Maybe we could build one school that's a military academy, and then so anybody who's an archer or a hunter will get a bigger bonus in their range and damage. Or the same with like training people how to be traders, and we could have the merchants, which are few in number, but still it'd be cool, maybe perform better, or farmers, or whatever. It would just be really cool to be able to pick a educational option other than just general education and have everybody have that. As far as I know, the previous versions of the game only the hospital needed to have somebody who was educated, and also the school. So the school was basically a medical school, and that was it. But it might be different now in this 1.0 case. I haven't seen it yet. Maybe if I encounter it, I'll let you know. But I don't know if there's anything to it for that. Oh, we're going into another winter. All right, mid-autumn, year 34. Another thing that grasped me about this game is how beautiful it is. The first game I saw change colors like this was Ostriv. When I was playing Ostriv and the village, when it turns to the autumn colors, those bright orange and yellow and red colors, I was taken away at how gorgeous that looked. And Farthest Frontier really improved upon that. I got to see that now in Farthest Frontier, and Manderlords I think has it, and City Skylines and a few other games. But I think this game does it very, very well with the subtle change of the weather to rain. You have leaves blowing around all throughout the air, and then of course the trees change color, and then eventually will mostly shed their leaves and just be there for the winter. So quite cool. We should be okay with firewood. All the things that I'm looking for looking pretty good for survival. And after we killed a group of raiders, there are raider camps around the map that will limit their attacks. We should be able to find and destroy one of these that, if we do, will limit their attacks for like a whole year, which is really good. If you do it like every other year, it'll give you almost like, depending on how many you find, like 5 or 10 years of no attacks, which is huge. Boar, they have a little hide or a hive over there, or a hideout, or whatever you want to call it, a den. So we can go over there with the military and destroy that, or even the hunters. And I gotta say, a very big pro tip in this game is very early, very, very early in the game. If you build more hunters than what you need, those are essentially your early military. They have bows and arrows, and they even get a bonus with, I think, their damage and their protection, and they have a sword. So if the enemy gets past their bow and arrow, or if you run out because you built a little too many of those huts, they will actually go down and hunt down whoever's threatening your city. So good early security, the hunter's cabin, and that's why I built so many there so early. And since then, our animals have kind of been pushed out of town, but they're still kind of wandering around. It's so lush and vibrant here that animals are wanting to move back in. So I'm trying to set up these scenes. This just came to mind here. This is the first one that I was more or less trying to design. And this is a clay pit that also has a little pottery area assigned to it. I haven't built the mine just yet. It's a deep mine, so it'll take a little while. But we got 2 potteries going here, or what do they call them? Potter buildings. So we got 2 of those going, and a little area to store. And then I've got a watchtower here too, because the enemy will try to attack that, because there could be valuable ceramics in there and other things. And we've got about 1,000 that's crazy. So that'll sell for big money. And what I want to do here is create more of these little picturesque, scenic areas for work. I don't want all the industrial areas just to be jammed together like they are here. There's really no rhyme or reason to this area aside from it being militarily sound. You can see the towers here along the road, and that's why I built them like that, to be able to protect all those buildings. But eventually I want to branch them out and look more like this. And we could build frickin' fences at 45-degree angles now, people. I don't know if we could do this with fortifications because I haven't unlocked them yet. But we might be able to now finally be able to build like this. I can't believe it. You can have a hexagon city if you want now. A rounded, quote-unquote, rounded walled city. Isn't that incredible? And yeah, I'm still making a lot of brick makers here. This game, I think, even with one of the perks, which I think lowers the amount of bricks needed to build a brick building by 25%, you're still going to need a lot of bricks. Bring a lot of bricks. It's crazy how many you need. So I already built 2 brick makers here. Might even make more, and could also put a no, not a blacksmith, but a glass smelter up here in addition to that. I'll put blacksmith somewhere else, but got lots of coal here, though. I got a coal mine there. And I'm starting to mine a little bit of iron from this mountain. This mountain here having quite a bit of iron ore too. And I've also successfully taken pretty much all the blueberry bushes from around the map. These are hawthorns. But I've taken all the blueberries, and this is the only one you can move. Don't ask me why. But yeah, we've put all of our berry bushes here to make kind of a vineyard where our old forager buildings are. So this is the old school tier 1 forager that'll go out and look for things like mushrooms and berries and nuts and anything else that's edible or usable, and bring it back here to dry it out, preserve it, and put it up for our people. But this right here is the tier 2 forager, and this is amazing. This will now plant up to 6 different deposits for like mushroom clusters or nuts and things like that. And these are like greenhouses that operate year round. I think they can gather here from multiple times. And this is so good when you build your city and you're forced with like having to tear down a bunch of like chestnut trees, or you know, cut down a forest where there's a bunch of mushroom clusters. Those things will stop growing and your people lose out on that. And it's really hurtful because you're trying to get all this different food variety up. You can see that there's, you know, protein, grain, vegetable, fruit, dairy, and luxury foods. And each of those is very important for providing the people something to keep them happy. Now, the game under vegetables there differentiates between like green beans and peas, and then carrots and turnips. Those are considered to be like 2 different things there. Then you've got mushrooms, and then you've got greens, which also includes cabbage, and then you've got preserves, which I can only imagine is like pickles, although it's preserved vegetables. I guess it could be pickled beets or you know, like pickled pickles, but there's not like an indication of that because you can't really farm that. So I don't know if we're pickling I don't know, carrots or well, cabbage, but are we making kimchi? I don't know. Anyway, very cool though that we have that option. The same with fruit too. So regardless, this is awesome that we can then make a lot more things that were harder to get, and I'm continuing to do that over and over again. I'm making more berries here, and just seeing what else we can like grow and keep growing throughout the year. So we'll keep an eye on that and continue to do that. You can switch these. I think actually these were defaulted. As you can see here, you can just change by clicking what they grow. And this is really awesome for those of you who might have trouble growing medicinal herbs in the mountains. Yeah, it used to be impossible to get anybody to be healed in the mountains quickly because you never had access to those medicinal herbs, and those traders would never bring them. And they're only around the lakes, like you can see right here. But if we grow medicinal roots, they'll sell for a good price, so we'll switch that out for the next year and make us some good money and keep people healthy. And another building I would never build because of that was the apothecary. There is an apothecary in the game. I don't remember exactly where it is, but the apothecary is something I built maybe once, could never really supply it, even with it being like an idyllic valley. Couldn't get them enough medicinal herbs or whatever they needed, and would never really build it. I think this is it here. Cheesemaker and preservist building. I don't know. There's a building for it somewhere. But there's a lot of great things that you can make to preserve and do whatever. So cool. We have a crypt in the game now. This is a good old graveyard, but a crypt, and this is a while ago. They added a crypt so that way you could have a much larger, smaller dedication of land for a much larger buried population. Throughout our time playing, in 34 years, only 44 people have died. That's including raids, disease outbreak, and a mini wild animal attack. In fact, I think over half of our people were probably killed by wild animals. You've witnessed some of them now, and if you don't take action on them, that number would be probably 144. We can almost get 200 people there. Eventually, this graveyard will be full, and we can go build it somewhere else. And looks like we can even move the graveyard. They used to be against that. I'll keep it there because I'm old school. When I play this game, I do everything manually, all slow, because that's just my play style. And before, you couldn't move your town hall long ago, but more recently, not in this version, but before, you can now move it, and it costs a little bit of gold to do that, 500 in this case. So if you ever wanted to move your town hall because you found a cooler place to build it, you're more than welcome to do so. I could mention everything about this game day after day, but I really just wanted to point out the fact that this game, all of the core pieces to make this really fun and catch everybody's attention those years ago are still very, very good and still blow my mind. And they've done some great things to add quality of life, with like this updated mini map that lets you see where like barbarian camps are. Like there's one right up here. You can see them up there. We can go attack them. They got a couple of towers there. But yeah, it's not perfect, but it's incredibly better than it was. I am blown away at how much time it's taken to get to this point. But for this 1.0 version, they've been kind of radio silent since like mid last year for me. But all of this stuff here that they've added is perfect. Everything used to be locked behind your population at your city hall, and I would just have stream after stream where it'd be like, all right, guys, today we got to hit 150 people to get to the next tier. We'd just be sitting at 125, then we get to 145, then almost 150, and then there'd be like an invasion, and we'd be back down to like 125. And so this at least allows us to get more technology to bypass the whole population number and then get more services for our people. Some of these are very cool, like, for example, having more armor and damage for your soldiers without even doing anything other than just spending a knowledge point. So you don't have to build a whole industry. You don't have to buy a bunch of armor. You don't have to train everybody and continuously pay for their training. You just kind of click that thing and that's it. So very cool. And then other buildings are unlocked by having these unlocked in the tech tree. So if we want to do any sort of glass production, we must unlock that building and then start producing it ourselves. If we look at our population too, what do we at here for population? Let me just check. Oh yeah, 68 people are kind of unemployed at the moment, which is good. You want some people to be unemployed. Anytime that you ask for a building to be built, those are the folks who will bring the construction materials to the site. Or if you ask them to cut down a forest and remove a bunch of rocks on the ground because you're going to be building something there, those are the folks to do it. Of that group of 67 there, 35 of them are allowed to be builders, which only 10 are being used right now. They're used in maintenance and of course, construction. So if I put down a building, a bunch of laborers are going to leap into action to bring all the materials to that building, and then the builders are going to start building. So very cool stuff. And you can see a whole breakdown of everything that we've got here. This is new too, policies. Policies, it's even got its own tutorial thing that hasn't popped up until just now. I've looked at this a few times, but now there's a tutorial pop up, and we'll read that. Through the town center, you have the means to enact policies. With policies, you can fine-tune various aspects of your settlement's production, defenses, and even happiness. All right, yeah, so Manor Lords, I think, is going to have this as well as other perks, too. And I think I want to see this in every game that I play as some sort of a tech tree, and then also the, policies. City Skylines has that, too, with, when you play it normally, you unlock certain buildings when you get to Hamlet or, small town or big city or whatever. And then there's also the town edicts or rules that you can unlock too. And I want to see this employed in Manor Lords. And this game here is really laying the foundation of what that game should have as well as foundation. All policies have a positive benefit. Not all policies have positive benefits. Oh, but also many come with trade-offs that may not be suitable for your village. Mix and match policies to achieve the best result for your settlement. Note that each policy can only be toggled every 12 months. Oh, yeah, interesting. Yeah. So I did this one policy where I allowed for hunters to use crossbows. It says hunters and guards could use crossbows. If toggled off, crossbows are military only. I was just testing that out, and I found it funny that we could not turn that off for 12 months. But this is good, though, because we do want our guards in the towers to be able to be equipped with crossbows. I mean, we want everybody to have a crossbow if we're making them. And then we could sell all the extra bows for money. But there's a lot of great things here. This needs to be expanded upon, but I think this is something I want to see really like almost tripled by the time 1.0 comes out. Production, civic, and military. I want to see more categories here, maybe something for spiritual, and then it being some sort of a boost for bonuses in the shrines or something. I don't know. There's a lot of potential here in this area, though, so don't forget about that. That's another thing that I haven't seen until recently. That could be 1.0. It really could. So, yeah. An insane amount of stuff here. We're going to get through this winter here, but I just wanted to say thank you very much, everybody, for watching the channel this long, especially with Farthest Frontier. This has been one of my favorite, honestly, my favorite series ever to do tutorials on, and inspired me to do other video series for Foundation and try to do tutorials specifically for that to be welcoming to new players. And it's just been fun to provide a resource for this game and a few others, and for people to come on back over months and just be like, how do you do this and that on an old video? I love seeing that. Again, I will be making new videos that are essentially the same information that are just in a new video, so new people can find it through the algorithm. You know, the algorithm's not going to suggest an old video as much as if we do a new one. So we'll likely cover some of the same topics like the blueberry bushes that I just showed you in farming and military. And there have been some changes to this game. They have changed some things on how those operate. Like, for example, with rat catchers, you know, there's different perks and policies now that might affect those differently and might change how and when you want to build those and where you build those too. So yeah, I'll put out all sorts of tutorials on wall building, military, farming, all that stuff coming up very soon. All right, guys. Well, that's going to be all the time today for Farthest Frontier. I think we'll be fine. I think we'll make it through another winter and we'll not have any major losses. So, again, thank you very much for watching the game on the channel. Thank you very much to Crate Entertainment for providing me with keys, by the way, for giveaway previously. If they give me more 1.0 keys to give away for this version or the full release 1.0 version, it's going to go to all of you who spam I'm in down below in the comments section here and on future videos, and of course in our live streams. So let me know that you're in and that you want to play this game if you haven't already, and I will see you all in the next one. Thanks again for watching. You all take care, and I'll see you all very soon for more, because I'm probably in Sweden right now. Hej, Sverige. All right, hej då. Tack så mycket, min kompis. Bye. I'll see you soon.